I didn't respect my mum, my dad, I didn't respect my brothers. All I did was argue, my friends. Now, Islam has taught me how to treat people, how to pursue.
Hi, and my name is Destiny, and welcome back to my channel. I reverted to Islam 10 years ago, and today we are going to watch a movie that's titled Jesus Led Me to Islam, a revert story of divine guidance. I am so excited to watch this. I do have my revert story on my channel if you want to check it out, but let's watch this video.
I'm Chris, I'm 27, and I did a lot of Christian activities, camping and stuff as a kid, and but my mum and dad was never religious. I had a stepdad growing up. He was never religious. It was like a youth place for me, the boys brigade. So, well, I was in a very bad place, suicidal. I was talking to someone that wasn't there, asking for help. And I was asking for help for like 3 months, and I stumbled onto this video on Facebook about Jesus, whereas I thought Jesus was the Son of God, and it was telling me that Jesus was a prophet of God. I was thinking, what's this? What's this? I watched these videos called Merciful Servant for.
I think it's just really similar to how my story went. At least I did have a side of my family that is more religious and a side that's not as religious. However, they're still very like Christian conservative in the way that they think. And I actually used to pray. I used to go to church. I used to pray. I used to cry and say, like, you know, I would say, Jesus, help me, and wanting to be in the church and wanting to be a good Christian. But it never really worked out for me. I never really stayed true to it. I never really felt that sort of like push to embrace the religion.
2 months. And I still didn't click, even though I was watching stories of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. I was watching stories about him, and it didn't click. This was Islam. I was in a taxi. I was talking to an Asian guy. I said to him, "Do you know of a religion upon the understanding of Jesus being a prophet of the God?" And he smiled at me, and I was like, "Why is he smiling at me?" So he smiled at me, and I smiled, and I'm like, "What's he doing?" And he said, "This is our religion, brother." And I went, "What religion's that?" And he went, "Islam." So
I love that. I love that. I think that is so amazing, and there similar things have happened to me in my life. But I think that is so amazing that he's sort of watching, you know, dawah, and he's watching and learning about Islam, but not actually knowing that he's learning about Islam. That's pretty cool.
I turned around to him and I went, "Muslims are terrorists. Muslims kill people. How can they have?"
Yeah, I talk about this also in my reverse story, where as growing up, that's sort of something that I thought as well. And I even remember, like, as a young kid, when Obama became president, and we sort of, all of our family members were like, oh, he's Muslim and the world is coming to an end and all of those things. So I definitely understand, and that's sort of how I felt when I was growing up as well.
Jesus in their religion, you know, Jesus is the saviour, you know. So, and he looked at me and he smiled again, and he went, "You know what it is, brother, just keep watching them videos and keep watching." So I kind of stopped watching the videos for a few weeks, but there was something it was eating me inside. I needed to know, and it was really, it was bugging me. So, and there were a few, I was very, 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 I was on the verge of just going, you know, ending it. And I was drinking a lot. I was doing things with my friends. I felt so lonely, but there was only this thing that kept me going. These videos of Prophet Yusuf, and how and a lot of stories that kept me going, and it kept my will to live, so to speak. And there was some, and I was speaking every night to some before I was sleeping. I was saying, please help me, God. I was speaking to God, but I was in my own way at that time because I didn't understand. I went back to the videos, and as I got into the videos, I found out a few more things, and I watched more stories about the Muhammad, and I was thinking to myself, but people say bad things about Muhammad. People say really bad things about him. That's all I've ever heard. You know, I've only known bad things. So I'm like, wow, these stories are, you know, this is how I want to be.
So it's interesting because growing up, I actually didn't even learn about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. People didn't really talk about him as much. It was more as like Muslims as a whole and the religion that they followed. Like, I didn't even know the word Islam growing up. And so we just knew Muslims and Muslim bad.
Started working at the Broadway in Bradford as a security officer, and I met a guy called Bashir, one of the Nigerian brothers. We didn't really speak about it because in my view was, if I don't have my friends as dictators, I don't want Muslims as dictators either. So I need to go down my own path. So I kind of kept it all quiet. So I worked with him for a few months, and he was talking about Islam, and he was inviting me for food, and I believe now he will put there to help me along this journey without him knowing. And very, very, very nice brother. On the 5th of November, it was bonfire night. I was celebrating the bonfire night with my friends who didn't know anything. So I was obviously drinking and that, and then I woke up on the 6th of November. It was a Friday, and I thought to myself, I need to go to the mosque. So I rang Bashir. I rang him and I said, Bashir, would you please take me to the mosque? And he turned around and he said, you need to learn Islam first before I take you to mosque. I said, brother, I've been doing it for 10 months. I need to go, and would you take me to the mosque? So he took me to the masjid where I met some of the brothers, and I was in the room with Masood, the sheikh, the mosque I was at, the imam. And he said, he asked me a few questions, and then he brought up a few things, and I said, I do believe that God was one, and the Prophet Muhammad, peace be with him. I believe, and so after Asa, I took my shahada and I become Muslim. I remember the feeling. I get that feeling now sometimes when I'm talking about Islam. It's weird. It's like, obviously when I used to drink and stuff like that, you get them rushes of feelings from that. It was one. I can't explain what the feeling I actually got from taking my shahada and becoming Muslim. You know, it was, I was sat there for nights and nights just thinking, wow, for days, and I still do it now, and I think, wow, when I learn new things, I just think, wow, to where I am now, yeah, to where I was then, people are seeing it, I'm gleaming, I'm glowing, I've got something about me, I've got a purpose of life now. Back then I didn't have no purpose at all. I didn't even care about anything. I didn't respect my mum, my dad. I didn't respect my brothers. All I did was argue, my friends. Now Islam has taught me how to treat people, how to pursue.
So, wallahi, I mean, this is making me cry a little bit because I feel like so connected to what he's saying, and that, Islam really did change me. It really did change me from, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala really did change my heart so much and my life, and what I considered fun or what I considered right or wrong. And even to this day, sort of looking back or looking at where I'm at as opposed to where I could have been had I not been guided. I think that's sort of, I'm so happy for him, and I'm just so happy for him, and I love to see these type of stories and these Revert stories because so much of what he's saying feels so true to my own story.
Life, how to become. It's been a guidance for me. It's a guide. Like Islam is a guide. It's not. I don't see it as the Quran as a rule book. I see it as a guide of life, and everything in Islam is beneficial, very beneficial. I was concerned that I wouldn't be a good Muslim, that I'd go back to drink and I'd go back to, but the thing is, I met Bashir. He kind of gave me that support. It wasn't like he just come to the Shahada with me and then he just left me behind. He's still with me now. He still rings me now. He's still giving me support now. Obviously, when I first took my Shahadas, I had my doubts, and everyone will have them doubts. But once you find the love for God and you find the love for the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, things change in your life. A light opens up. You've got to go in and you've got to work hard. You've got to work hard. If you want something, you've got to work hard for it. And I've worked hard this last year. I've worked really hard, and now I'm seeing the benefits. When I'm praying, I'm feeling it. So this stuff makes me proud of myself as well, and it's brought a sense of happiness to me. It's opened other doors. Like my dad's more understanding about Islam now as well, and he knows that it's not what it was. And to this day, it's the best thing I've ever done. The bestest thing I've ever done.
Mashallah, mashallah. That was so wonderful. Let me finish it. But I mean, I thought it was beautiful what he said, and I think that it's one thing that I think is really interesting that he said. You sort of have to work hard for it, because when you come from a life of not ever knowing Islam, and not ever knowing much about it, and then you discover the religion, you're guided to the religion, and you realize, oh wow, this is something that I believe, and that I'm still crying, but this is something that I believe, and this is something that I want to be, and I want to move forward with my life, with this religion in my life. I think we don't stop to realize that there are certain changes that are going to have to happen, and it's a learning process.
Believe in your art, go with your art, because that's where you'll find your happiness and your peace. Don't be afraid. There's people out here that will help you. You've got a lot of support. The brotherhood, the sisterhood in Islam is out of this world. We're all together as a one. And if you are looking into Islam and you need some support, open out to people, speak to people, because if you don't speak, then you'll never know.
Yeah, so that's the end of the video. I thought it was amazing. It made me cry, of course. Of course it did. And I think that was just such a good video and such a good message overall to sort of take away with, and that is that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will guide you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is working even when you don't see it working. And just like he was saying, his friend Bashar, he didn't know, but maybe Bashar didn't know, but Allah put him in his life to help guide him to the truth. And inshallah, I hope he's doing okay, and I hope that he's finding this transition easy, and that he's leaning on his brotherhood. And yeah, I thought that was a really great video. If you would like more, please follow me. If you want to, go ahead and watch my Revert story and follow me for the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.